All right, guys. So this week we watched Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, directed by James Gunn, starring Chris Pratt
What are you talking about?
and Bradley Cooper, Karen Gillan, Dave Bautista. In case you don't know, it's ending the trilogy of the Guardians of the Galaxy films. But here's a synopsis in case maybe you're just curious. Still reeling from the loss of Gamora. Not a spoiler. You should have watched that movie by now. Peter Quill must rally his team to defend the universe and protect one of their own. If the mission is not completely successful, it could possibly lead to the end of the Guardians as we know them. Where do you want to start? This is non-spoiler. I'm going to get our quick thoughts out and then go to the spoilers.
As a How do I word this? I don't know if this is a spoiler or not, but the person that they teamed up with, is that a spoiler? Do you know who I'm talking about?
I think so. Just keep going. That's fine.
Because I think I missed something. Like, I didn't know this person was part of the franchise anymore. So is that a spoiler? Is that this movie?
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah. That's fine. That's fine.
It's fine as in I can say it?
No, don't say the name. Just keep going.
Oh, okay. Well, then I'll just come back to it. Okay, but overall then, I thought this movie was really funny at times. And obviously it's a Guardians of the Galaxy movie, so it's going to be funny. But I never actually laugh out loud at movies. You know, when like something's funny is said, I usually never like laugh out loud. But there was this one scene in particular that just had me dying for no reason. And it was like they were on the spaceship, and he's like, "Oh yeah, that's the guy's nephew. He's kind of crazy." And then the guard was like, "Oh yeah, I have one of those too." And he just looks at him like this. Dude, I was laughing so hard because it was like a good 2 minutes of like just silence while he was looking at him. It was it
I don't
was
think it
so
was 2 minutes, but yeah, it was
oh yeah,
prolonged for
a
sure.
lot, but that had me cracking up. But
That's
really,
fun.
just like the whole movie, I felt it was really funny.
It's it's funny you say that too because I don't think it was like a feel good movie though. Like it had a little bit of everything. It was like
Yeah,
very
yeah.
very dark and
It was
depressing
it was
at
a very
times.
emotional movie too,
Yeah, very emotional.
but it was still funny.
But they did a good job, in my opinion, kind of closing the chapter on everything that they've kind of opened up from the beginning, especially with just showing how important Rocket is as a character and just how all
Right.
the trauma that he went through. Obviously, no spoilers. How all the trauma that he went to and how he got up to that point, and just the theme of family coming
Right.
together in the end. It really just encapsulates that. Like if I had to say one word, it's family.
And that's been like the whole point of the Guardians movie since like the first movie. You know
Hmm.
what I mean?
Yeah,
Like them as a team, they are a family. It's just been building off that relationship the whole time.
which these are pros, but of course, but like the biggest thing I said too, and that goes off with the humor you're talking about. I feel like this group out of any Marvel movie should have humor. Like
Oh yeah.
it's their chemistry. The whole team's chemistry is just it's
Well,
just
because
really incredible.
they can be funny and serious at the same time.
Exactly, they gel just incredibly well, and
Right.
they really bounce off of each other very naturally.
Yeah.
It's really, and obviously that has to do with the actors too. But they do really well in these roles and these characters that they portray on screen.
Right. And that goes back to the writers too, because
Hmm.
which is the way that
Exactly.
the writers wrote the characters. But that was another thing too. I Because the first two Guardians of the Galaxy movies, they were kind of more focused on the comedy aspect too. But this one, it did take a very serious tone, you know,
Yes, yes, it did.
like, and that helped close it out.
It was downright probably the darkest Marvel movie, honestly.
Oh,
It was downright I wouldn't say horrifying, but for some viewers I'd say it was might have been a little horrifying some of the images that were shown. And I mean personally no, but
yeah, I don't know if I'd go that far, but I mean, definitely just the themes, I guess, the
the
themes that they
themes.
showed, yeah.
Yeah.
But
I thought the soundtrack was incredible, of course, and the environments were I thought out of everything the environments in this were very vibrant, like very alive. There's
oh
just so
yeah,
many different environments that they
right.
ran through. and different types of like aliens and creatures. It really, I don't mean to compare it to this, but it really feels like Star Wars at times. Not it's not like I'm not saying it's a copycat, but like it's just cool that this is its own little world, its own little galaxy that they explore,
Right.
different creatures of it, and just how creative they are with these different character designs.
I agree. Um, I did have a con though, and I just feel like I don't know. Adam isn't a spoiler, is he?
No,
He
he's
was
in the
in the trailer.
trailers. He was teased. Second movie.
Yeah, Adam Warlock was kind of sidelined. Like he was supposed to be the main focal point. I think. I think that's what they were trying to do, but he got sidelined like pretty hard.
That's my biggest con too. Yeah,
Like the first half of the movie, I completely forgot about him.
until he showed up again, right?
Yeah, and then he didn't really have a deep purpose when he showed up again. You know, it was just kind of base level.
No, and the way they explained it too, or kind of explained it, was they said like he was this is kind of a spoiler, but I don't think it's a big deal. So he was, I don't want to say hatched, but he like in an incubation chamber and they let him out early.
Yeah,
And I'm
and
like, I guess that affects his
like yeah,
development, but at the same time that's kind of, I don't know, a little lazy.
yeah, exactly. And then there's nothing about the character himself
Yeah.
that brought anything to the movie. He was just following orders. Like, you know what I
And
mean?
yeah, I have spoilers to talk about with him too, but yeah, I agree. He was very, he felt like he was just kind of shoehorned in there. Like they were just
Yeah, he was just
like,
there.
like they were like, oh shoot, we have this really nice story and villain that we want to bring out with this movie, but it's the end of the trilogy, so like, and we teased Adam Warlock, so we kind of have to put him in it.
Right, right. Yeah. But that being said, I feel like the villain that was supposed to be sidelined, I think that whole storyline was really good. I
Yes,
think they actually created his character really well.
the High Evolutionary. I thought he was
Yeah.
probably, I don't want to say the best Guardians villain because there's some pretty good ones, but all three of them were pretty solid.
I
But I
mean,
really thought his
definitely better than Adam.
yeah, but his his performance, and it was like actually like pretty damn solid
Yeah.
for a Marvel villain compared to like the other films we've been getting. It was pretty damn solid. He was one of the more enjoyable villains. I feel like
Also,
as a spoiler, I'll say that later.
I don't know why, but his appearance, just the way they made his costume, I guess, kept making me think he was he I kept thinking Kang
Yeah, I did too.
from
Actually, yeah,
Ant-Man. I was
I
like,
agree.
he looks just like him.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. He the way he was designed.
Yeah.
But do you have any more cons? That was a lot of pros we listed off. It's a very
Um,
solid film.
yeah, yeah, definitely. No, I don't think any cons. I just have one more pro too.
Okay,
I
go
like
ahead.
how it really showed the evolution of Rocket going from just a regular animal to how smart he is now, and it really showed like the in between, like how he learned and progressed and got smarter and smarter.
And how a lot of his trauma really kind of fueled his behavior the way he is.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
that's
really
true.
sad, but it's how it works and how it led him to that and how. No, I'm not gonna say
He
that.
definitely probably has one of the saddest backstories.
Oh, for sure, dude. Like
Like,
almost ever.
dude, I feel so bad for him.
Oh, me too. And I got stuff to say about that later, but we're trying
Not
not to
even how he
get
grew
spoilers.
up, but just the single scene. Like you already know what I'm talking about, I'm sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I got
But
there's a
anyways,
couple, but yeah.
I think yeah, overall, I really, really enjoyed it. Besides Kane, I mean, besides what's his name?
The High Evolutionary.
No, no, Adam Warlock. Besides him being
No,
sidelined, I think it was a really solid movie, and I really enjoyed it.
I have one more. It's kind of a neutral take. I felt like this movie is actually kind of packed with a lot of different arcs. Obviously, the focus is on Rocket, but there's a lot of different
Yeah,
character arcs that they went through, and they all closed. All the arcs closed pretty well, but there was a couple. Like it just there was a point in the middle of the movie it just felt kind of crowded, and then it was
yeah,
like pretty damn fast paced too, going location to location and all that. But other than that, I thought It was really, and obviously there was still some like Marvel humor in the movie. Of course, it's going to be that, but this is one of the better Marvel movies they've had. Probably one like top three of the last phase or whatnot, whatever we're on. I don't even know anymore. But
Right.
it was a really, really well done by James Gunn in that cast. Bravo! And even the, it's funny too because even all the some of the newer characters, they just felt right to be there. If that makes sense. Besides Adam Warlock, he felt kind of weird, but
Yeah, he's kind of.
yeah, it was cool.
I
It
mean,
was
I
really
agree. Yeah,
a great film. But yeah, that's our non
I'd
spoiler.
recommend.
Yeah, I would also recommend. Thank you, Anthony. We're going to get into spoilers. If you have not seen it, if you have, just make sure you leave a like, comment, subscribe, and make sure you check links in our description for all of our socials and whatnot in our merch store. Leave a comment if you want to talk about this movie more, and we will get to it. Or if you had any thoughts about it. But now these are spoilers, so let's get into them, shall we? Pros,
Let's do it.
cons. Actually, let's go cons first.
Well, you said you had specific comments about Adam, right?
Yes. So the spoilers. So with him, I felt like literally the only reason he joined the Guardians in the end was just because he wanted a place of belonging because his mother died, which is totally fine. But I felt like he shouldn't. He joined way too fast. Like he didn't even
Yeah.
do anything bad to him. He's obviously, I think he's like kind of neutral in the comics, but at the same time, I'm like, you didn't really use him at all. He was just there,
Well, that's
quiet.
it. Follows the whole the how they wrote him throughout the whole movie. He just gets thrown into things. He doesn't have a reason behind anything. I feel like
Yeah,
the reason he was after Raccoon is just because his mom told him so, or these other people told him so. The reason
I,
he joined the Guardians is because like, well, he has nothing else. Why not?
he was funny too because he's all oblivious. Like he's like,
Yeah,
get off me, squirrel!" Like the raccoon, and it's like he
yeah,
just does, just like you say, he's following orders, and it's cool that he has a sense of belonging. Like that's like it's not like the biggest deal in the world. I just feel like he was kind of thrown in there.
all right. Go real quick before we continue. I have two questions, and they might be related.
Yeah.
One, why were they so sad in the very beginning of the movie?
Who?
The whole team, especially Quill,
It
because he
was
was
just
like drinking and then falling down and stuff.
Peter that was really sad
Why was he sad?
because he lost Gamora.
But that happened in the first movie, didn't it? In Infinity War,
Mm-hmm.
that had been like 8 years ago at this point or something, right?
Now you see how much he's grieving. Yeah, he's going through it.
But 8 years later, when he was fine previously, like he was fine in Thor,
That was for like a split second though.
I guess.
Like you
Yeah,
got to think he puts on a face when he's going to do a mission.
yeah, I guess so.
He's got to be the leader,
It
so he
just
can't
seems
just
like
be.
that happened so long ago.
I feel like probably because of COVID and stuff, bro. It's been a while.
Um, and then the other thing is, how the hell did Gamora come back to life? Did I miss something?
Remember in Endgame,
No,
she came back from a different timeline. That's why she doesn't remember anything. It's a
from a
different
different
timeline.
timeline.
Yeah, she got pulled in from a different timeline universe, whatever it is. I don't know exactly. I don't remember, but yeah. So it's not his Gamora, but it's still a Gamora.
Yeah, I don't remember that at all. So she just left the team, or like she came back and was like, "Yeah, y'all aren't my team. I'm gonna do my own thing now," and left.
Pretty much
Interesting.
with the Ravagers, because obviously she didn't know them. They're a
Well,
family, but
yeah,
she didn't know them. She didn't care about them.
still.
It is crazy though. Yeah. And like I think it's cool that I actually think it's cool they didn't get together. Like they didn't repeat that story.
Yeah, I'm
They
glad they
they,
did. I'm
they stayed with the sentiment that this is a different person than you
right.
knew. You can't just
I will
immediately
say though,
terminate
this is
her.
another thing I found hilarious. I think I almost laughed at this point too, is when she had enough and she was like, "You keep describing me as this person that you love, but you're just describing her," and pointed to Nebula, and he's like, "Oh, you have beautiful eyes."
They're black as
It's so
day.
funny.
Speaking of the comedy too, Drax kills it, dude. Drax kills me,
Yeah,
man.
yeah,
Like
that's
he's
just
that lovable idiot.
yeah.
He kills
Which I
me
feel
every
bad
time.
because I love Drax's character. I love Dave Bautista. He does Drax perfectly. But it does kind of suck too, because the more he does that role, the more that's what people are going to associate with him, and he's trying to get away from the comedy.
That's why I am on board with him. Like this as his last role as Drax,
Right.
because I agree he does need to get out there. It's not his fault, obviously, but
Yeah, but the more
his character
people
needs to go out
recognize him with that character, the more they recognize him with that type of character too.
there. Absolutely.
So, but good for him. He did great at Knock at the Cabin. Anyways,
Also, the more I think about it, I did really like all the character arcs. I thought they were really well. I just thought in the middle it started feeling like it was kind of crowded out, but like I
I
said,
mean,
they
it was,
they
but
they closed really well,
right,
each of them, and like for good reason. Like especially like not especially, but like just an example, like with Drax, he's a lovable idiot, but he's also it's cool to see him like he could be a father, like he could like really nurture and like
right.
help others, not just be a destroyer.
I
And
agree.
then like obviously, I mean, we should just this isn't even cons anymore. We're just talking really good about this movie. We should talk about Rocket and his trauma. It
Yeah,
broke my heart whenever he first got into the cage, like the very first time. And he's got his head's like kind of shaved, right?
yeah.
And just
Oh, yeah. That was so because, dude, the way they animated him, I've like, oh,
like an actual animal getting tortured, dude.
yes. You could. His eyes were all huge.
What made me so it probably made me sadder than the other parts. His first words were "It hurts, bro."
Oh,
That's so fucking
I
sad,
know.
dude. I was
And
like,
he's like
oh
crying.
man, huh?
He was like crying too.
Yeah, he's like hurts. I was like, oh no, man,
That
no.
was his first ever spoken word.
That's what I'm saying. That's why it's so sad, bro. He was
That was
born
pretty
with
bad.
the trauma, and then of course, the big scene when all
Dude,
the
okay.
kids died and they're all freaking out, and there's just so much going on. It's just very
When okay, hold on. We gotta take that scene slow because like I thought it was bad when the otter, I don't know her name.
Lila,
Sky? Is that her name?
Lila.
Lila. When she got shot and he screamed, oh dude, that broke my heart because that was like a heartfelt scream.
And you got to think that's the first time he like seen
Ever
her
saw anything.
seen her with like not behind a cage, like literally face to face, like
Oh
physically.
yeah. Well, not only that, that's the first time he's ever seen death, and that's the first friend he's ever had.
Oh man.
Like first anything,
Yeah.
you
And
know?
it was taken away in
Dude,
literally
that
seconds.
scream though, when he oh, I felt so bad. And then afterwards, when the other two died too, I think what was even worse is this time he was just silent. Like
You
it was hurting him so bad he couldn't even cry, you know?
he couldn't. He had to run, dude.
That was like literally his entire life. Like he grew up with those three people his whole life.
And in a sense too, because of that, he grew up. Maybe not. He not everyone. I'm sure. But the trauma of that is he grew up thinking this is how they all are. Like anyone besides like him, and other animals. Like this is how they
Yeah,
all treat us.
yeah.
And
Oh,
even
but I loved it when he gouged out the eye of what's his name.
the evolutionary.
Because I don't know, I just love that when characters like flip a switch and just go off.
Yeah. I also liked his whole I'm glad he didn't die. There was a part of me I thought he was gonna die.
Yeah, I thought he did.
Like I thought no way he's gonna die, but then I was like, wait, no, actually he might die.
Like he might actually die. Yeah,
But especially the scene when he's basically going to interpretation of heaven while his friends are there. And he's like,
yeah.
oh, like I'm finally at peace, like let's go. And
You
they're
know
like,
what I thought
no,
of
it's
when I
not,
thought.
you can't go.
You know what I thought of too is, um, oh don't hate me. What's his name? Um, Black Panther. What's his name?
Chadwick Boseman?
No, the character.
Was he in the movie?
No, what's his name? Who does Chadwick Boseman play?
The Black Panther?
Yeah, what's his name?
T'Challa.
T'Challa. Anyways, I guess it's not that big a deal. But when T'Challa died and went into the afterlife, you know how we saw like his afterlife?
Yeah,
I thought that's what was happening with the raccoon. I really thought like, oh, he's dead. Like they're showing us his afterlife now.
that's what I thought too.
Yeah, but I'm glad they didn't.
I think it would not made it worse, but I think it's cool to see like that's his piece. That was his piece,
Yeah,
being with them, and it's like heartbreaking that he lost. Literally, he basically literally lost everything
yeah,
he ever
yeah,
loved.
literally
Everything he ever loved. Literally,
everything. Yeah,
everything he was born there. But we're going off. It was okay. It was really sad, but it was an incredible backstory.
right. Well, that just
Deep
the
dive
fact
into
that
that
we're talking
character.
about it so much just speaks volumes to how they
How
wrote it. Like
incredible it was.
how yeah, it
Even
was great.
beautiful scene when he found out he really was a raccoon.
Yeah,
After all that time, he was like, "No, I'm not a raccoon. I don't know what that is."
yeah.
Kind of thing, like, "Don't call me that." But
I am
just
Racket Raccoon.
yeah, it was. I don't know if I have much else to say, but other than it was just like
What do you think of the ending? I guess.
I thought it was. I thought it was a beautiful ending. Obviously, they all like. I feel like they all had good reason for leaving.
Yeah,
Personally, and I thought that was perfect because I think the whole time a lot of fans and stuff thought, okay, one or two of them has to die, like the
yeah,
but
yeah.
not necessarily. Like they just have all their good reasons for leaving. Obviously, good things leave over time, is the
It was
saying.
sad though. Like
Yeah, good things don't always last.
for the family, but
Yeah, exactly. They're all family. They're all going to be there for them, but they all need to go
do
ex-
something for themselves.
explore themselves. Yeah, as
Yeah.
individuals, and they understand that, and they've done their time. Basically, it's just it's an incredible end. And even I don't know if you caught this. I did see an article. James Gunn talked about it, and I actually assumed it in the movie, so I'm glad I caught on to it. Whenever Groot said his first words, bro, in the end,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
he's like, "I love you guys." I was like,
Oh,
I was like, "What the heck?"
dude, that was crazy.
But and I kind of assumed this afterward because no one else like said anything. The Guardians and James Gunn actually confirmed it. What I suspected, it was his way, the director's way of showing you're a part of the family now. Like you understand what Groot's saying, just like everyone
Oh,
else did.
that's wow.
Because no one budged. Like, oh, he spoke English for the first time. None of the Guardians.
Right.
So I was like, okay, maybe he's just showing that we understand his language. Like that's what he's saying when he says "I'm Groot." That's one of
Dang.
the things he's saying. Yeah.
That's crazy.
So like that was really iconic moment, honestly, and it was kind of a really cool
Wow.
way
That
to
that is
send him
actually
off.
really crazy. Yeah.
It's funny too that they say it's ended, but I feel like with the new team that they have, Adam Warlock, Rocket, Groot, I feel like we'll see something with them soon. It did
Oh,
say Star
100%.
Lord's coming back, so last thing from me, unless you have something else to say, I was just gonna say I kind of like a lot that they did not connect this in any way to any other Marvel movie.
Yes.
This is
That
completely its own.
was just separate by itself.
I was waiting for some post credit scene or something. Nope, it was just Chris
Yeah.
Pratt.
They need to
Totally,
do that
totally the
more
same.
often, I think.
Exactly. Beautiful send off. Great
Yeah.
film.
Um, I mean, yeah, I don't think I have anything else to say.
Okay. Rating.
So,
I'm gonna get onto the ratings.
uh, honestly, I'll give it a 9. I think a
Okay.
9.
Yeah. I'm actually gonna give it an 8.5 just because of a lot of the little minor little plot stuff in the middle, especially when I said I thought it was packed. I actually do
Right.
feel like it could have been a little bit shorter if they didn't cram a lot of the stuff in. Some of the
I
sequences went on a little too long.
I agree with that.
But I mean I understand why they did though. So um yeah, 8.59. We'll let you know what Edward's score is, but right now we're sitting at a about an average of, like 8.7 ish. Really cool, really cool. Um, Marvel needed this,
I agree.
like a
Plus, I
rejuvenation.
don't know what else Marvel has right now.
Not much coming
Whereas
out.
thing
I'm not really
important.
sure, but that's for another story.
Yeah.
That's it. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. Make sure you look at the links in the description once again, and look at the link to our merch store and everything. All our socials are down there as well. Make sure you set on for us. We will see you next week, or whatever week we are available. We'll try our very, very best.